Hello, everyone. Welcome to Epic Work Items Migration Sync Weekly. It's 9th of May, and we have a bunch of updates. So I'll go ahead and start verbalizing those. So from the workstream 2 regarding syncing of legacy epics to work item types, we had a bug last week when we initiated syncing where during syncing of color value or the color attribute for legacy epics, we had a not null constraint, which led to syncing not go through as expected, which was later fixed, and the fix has already been merged and deployed to production. And we have already enabled the feature flag again, as Felipe mentions. But on the other side, while we were waiting for that fix to get reviewed and merged, we enabled creation of work items for every epic by default. And we rolled out syncing of epics to work items for all of GitLab.com last Thursday. And we didn't see any mismatches as far as base attributes is concerned. So even though we had a few thousand syncs per day, so that's a success that we can create at least bare bones epic work items for every epic that gets created. And we also uncovered a race condition while we were doing so. And it was basically found by our validation check. And we have a fix for that currently in review, which will prevent reporting. So the race condition was due to some of the epics getting deleted after creation, right in between where the syncing was in progress. So that has been fixed, and the MR is currently in review, and hopefully it will be merged within this week, and we should resume the syncing properly again. Felipe, do you want to verbalize anything regarding workstream 2?
Not really. This is pretty much it. So I just mentioned the fix is merged, and I just re-enabled the feature flag again like 20 minutes ago. So yeah, we should monitor and if everything's all right. I think we can just remove the flag next week, and that's it.
Okay. Regarding workstream 3, so uh, background migration to create work item for every epic got merged in 17.0, which means that it will be going in self-managed as well. We will be focusing now on migrating other epic data in 17.1 and ensure that all of the data is there in 17.2. What this means is every epic that gets created, a corresponding work item epic also gets created, including all the attributes, should be functional in 17.2. The effort last week was essentially allowed us to move one milestone earlier than we originally planned. And apart from that, to really get the advantage of this effort, we need to get all the backfills merged. That means all the widgets and attributes which are part of legacy epic needs also to be synced correctly within 17.1 for work item epics as well. If these two is not done, then we lose the milestone again. The delegation work can theoretically be completed in 17.2, where we would be able to roll out epic work items, assuming that we are done with work streams 1 through 4 and 6. And I don't see any additional blockers or help required. But John, in case you want to verbalize or elaborate on any of those points, feel free to.
Which one? Sorry, I was still reading
Uh,
the
yes, workstream
second,
3
third
regarding
workstream.
backfilling. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just, I was just, if you saw me highlighting that text, it was because I want to make sure that we follow up on that. Whenever Nicholas is back, that we get those items in 17.1 that are most critical, um, scheduled on time. So I'll sync with him whenever he gets back.
Uh, on last Monday meeting, we just realized everyone needed to drop current work and jump into the backfilling issue. So I see 5 of them, and all of them are assigned to someone. I see one for Mario has a migration, Eugenia, me, another for Alexandru, and I think we should be able to get everything in the 17.1.
Great. Regarding workstream 4 for hybrid sync. So,
Sorry, Kushal. I'm sorry. Can
yeah,
I ask just quickly, John, is there anything we can do to kind of insulate the folks working on that? Like I saw somebody ping Nicholas on a review, ignoring roulette this morning for something that's super not important. It wasn't one of our team members, but is there any way to like take them out of reviews?
Uh, Not that I'm aware of. Like the
If you put the red circle, you won't be in the
I think it's
roulette.
ignored still, right? The red circle. But you
That
can
just
put
changed,
Oh,
right?
really?
2 or 3, I think, and after 2 it respects the number of concurrent reviews that you do, but not if it's 1 or 2, only if it's 3 or 4, I think. I don't know. Does anybody know?
Yeah, well, what I usually do, I keep the number 2 and I keep myself assigned as a reviewer on some merge requests.
I mean, it is kind of extreme measures at the moment. Just
So
throwing
it's not
that
that
out
I'm
there.
not
Sorry.
pinged at all, but I am very little pinged. So I cheat the system.
I would
Yeah, it's
suggested,
probably, sorry.
yeah, sorry, John, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, between this sort of small group of people who are working on this effort, like, I mean, if you're keeping MRs assigned for review that you're working on as part of this anyway, and you have that number on your bio, most likely you can avoid, I would imagine, getting requested for other reviews. But that only stops you from being recommended by Roulette. So if somebody is ignoring Roulette and assigning it anyway, then it's not going to help you. The best thing in that case is to deploy the word no.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I think
that's
it's
what
okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's what I suggested to team members working on this migration as well. Like if they see that roulette or their busy status is being ignored, feel free to be upfront that you are at capacity and are working on high priority stuff and cannot review. And that would be more appropriate rather than leaving that MR hanging in there and review only after they get the bandwidth back.
Let's just make sure we communicate that to all the team members working on this, that it's okay to say no.
Next is hybrid sync. So we are not 100% there as far as hybrid sync is concerned, as far as 17.0 milestone is there. But we still managed to get a couple of attributes merged and synced, like syncing of dates, hierarchy widget, basic attributes, and creating of legacy epics are all merged. What is missing now is syncing of reordering of hierarchy, which is in review. There is some additional validation work required, which is also pending, and then executing our validation worker when syncing work item to Epic to make sure that it is all correctly synced, and then changing feature flag to allow work items to write to the legacy Epic. We are in early stages of testing this, but you can go to gitlab.com on staging, gitlab.com group on staging to test it out. And then also basically opening any legacy epic and changing its URL from /epics to /work items will give you some idea on what the synchronization is. And there are a couple of epics and corresponding work items already linked in the agenda in case anyone wants to explore it further. On a delegation, we continued working on it, but due to changes in workstream 3, we shifted focus last week. And we generally think that backfilling is done at a higher priority now so that we don't lose the milestone again. Any questions regarding workstream 4?
I think delegation can be done as the very last thing, and we should
Yep.
focus on everything else first.
Yeah. And workstream 5 is regarding removing legacy epic support. So there's an epic linked in the agenda, which Eugenia mentioned, but no additional verbalization required there. So we can jump to workstream 6, which is UX and switching between legacy epic to work items. So Nick has a question for you, Amanda. So in case you want to.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to look at it, but basically on the issue that he linked, there's some things for me to review and make decisions on. So I will update that and we can report on it next week.
And I also saw a mention from Nick, to which I've already responded in Ping Donald as well, that in the group level work items listing page, there are a few metadata items missing, like thumbs ups and
Thumbs up.
upvotes and downvotes on work items. And Donald has already linked the follow-up issue that project management is tracking in updating their listing view. So that part is already covered. And
Well,
yeah,
those things are not listed on that issue. So if Nick doesn't get that today, I'll go ahead and update that issue with the missing things.
sure. And now on to discussion.
Yeah, so I was just wondering if we could review the rollout timeline and check to see where we are. Is this still accurate and what our confidence is against it? So here we are. Currently, I'm trying to make my screen bigger, but it won't. There we go. All right, so currently too big. I put the dates on here to try and make things easier. We have the enable global sync in 17.0, which is ends tomorrow. Is that going to happen or does that need to change?
Felipe, you want to respond to that in case you have any additional info on the question? You're on mute.
Oh, sorry. So which one?
Enable global sync feature flag
From
was slated
epics
for the,
to work items, you can already do it next week. We're just waiting to see if something will go wrong, but so far so good. So I think next week you can remove it. Actually, it's
so
already
not in
enabled, so we just need to
17.0.
remove it.
It is enabled?
So yeah, but it's enabled only for Epic's creation. So yeah, it's enabled. Yeah, it's enabled for everyone.
So this says enable sync feature flag globally. So that is complete. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Union of existing data with work item data. Is that
Wait,
going to land in?
are you sure about that
So
feature flag? Because my understanding was we pulled out the code to sync creation from behind the feature flag. So the actual status of the feature flag might be different, right?
yeah, it's enable.com for everyone. So, oh, sorry, this one is about global, right? So it's enable.com. It's not default enable on the young file. Just a minute, let me check. Oh, sorry, someone just turned on my screw driver here.
Nope.
While he's looking at that, if somebody can look at the rest of the kind of workflows.
So I just looked.
Union,
So yeah, it's enabled for everyone, but not
okay.
default enabled. That was the question. Yeah, we can remove it next week.
Okay.
I don't think we need to default enable. We should just go ahead and remove it next week.
Okay. I think that the I'm going to use the word milestone because I can't think of another one, but the significant act was to just enable it, not necessarily remove it. So I'm going to consider this complete. Union of existing data with work item data.
That one, I think we just drop it working at it now because we are focused on the backfilling. So I think we will probably have this on 17.2.
17.2, we had it in 17.0. So now.
So yeah, because for now our focus are on the backfilling. So
Okay.
I don't think we can finish all the union next milestone. Probably half of it, but not everything.
Okay. And then is there any dependency for this and other things? Like, does this have to finish before the last data migration can finish or something like that?
Not really. So I
Okay.
just don't understand why do we have two data migrations there.
The way that Alexandru had listed the information was like there's the main data migration, then there's the additional fields, then there's the cleanup. It was like 3 steps that he was tracking, so that's why I did it like that.
All right. So if there is a dependence of the union, No, I don't think so. We can do it before or after the migration. So yeah, there's no dependency on any
Okay.
of it. Only the first one, which we already merged. So yeah.
And then this
That
data migration.
sorry, that
Yeah, go ahead.
but the union of existing data is the delegation. So we've technically already started that. We
Oh,
have some
that's
open
done.
MRs for that. We deprioritized it just because we wanted to focus everybody on the backfilling in order to get that project last week done.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
So it's
it
more
could
like
go
that.
right to the end if we needed it to, because it doesn't like it can be done at the end. It's not time
Mhm.
critical like the other things. Um, it's also just a quick note that I think that these time bars for data migration, um, they relate to the time, yes, but not the effort, right? So like
Yeah,
we can't run migrations until certain times, like they have to be run sequentially according to milestones, and that's why they look this way, but that doesn't mean like that it takes a whole milestone of effort, if that makes sense.
understood.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mostly for this exercise of this visual, I try to do like some relative effort in terms of the sizing, but I really don't care about the effort for this exercise. It's more about when does the thing land in time.
Yeah, I just
Okay,
think that
so
like if you have like these bars there, it can look like the team's committed to creating migrations, right? But like actually at that stage, we may have created the migrations and just need to time them, and so everyone's
okay,
freed up to work on, delegation or whatever's remaining.
okay. Do you have a recommendation for how to kind of fix this? Should I just make it smaller or?
Nah, I think it's fine. It's just something to bear in mind.
Okay,
And
okay,
the union of existing data is like fine the way it is. I don't know. But I think by the time we get to that point, like we'll have more capacity anyway. And also like you
okay.
kind of have to solve one complex one, like notes or whatever, and then all the others are just follow the same pattern.
Okay, I added to that one that it started, but it's now deprioritized to try and bring some context to it. All right, the most important, any change to shipping data migration to self-manage and going GA for SaaS in 17.2? Are we still feeling like that's going to be possible in 17.2?
Yes. I don't see why not. Yeah, we should, if you don't have any difficulty with all the other backfilling ones, I mean, backfilling the associations, so we should be fine with this timeline.
Do we have a level of confidence by any chance?
By looking at the backfilling migration, we have 5, and all of them are assigned, I think, like 80%. And worst possible scenarios like a missing index in some of them that can delay the merge or something like it. So maybe 80%.
Okay. Um, so next week, I will bring a list and I'll ping on it prior, because we still have some significant parity issues, like things that we need to go live with that aren't done. And so I plan on, and that's kind of what Nick's workstream is doing too. So I'll make sure that all of that is like vetted and prioritized so that we could start discussions on, what do we need to do to get this done? Because we can't really do any significant testing or recording of videos or sharing with customers until a couple of these things are available. All right, thanks everybody.
John, last discussion item is from you.
Yeah, just on that, like I think this is not in the agenda, but just on that last point, I'm wondering like everything in plan stage that's new should be demoable, right? Like if you create a new work item epic in the plan stage group, you don't have to worry about delegation. You don't have to worry about any backfilling. Um, Everything should just work. Is that right? I don't know.
Uh,
Let's find out. I'll follow up on it and see. But I think that that should be true because, yes, like if you go in and you look at any of the old epics that have been converted from legacy epics, all the migrations haven't run yet, so they have missing stuff and that kind of thing. But like if you just have a epic work item, you don't need delegation because there is no legacy epic. So I don't know. I'll take a
I mean, it works to an extent, right? There's like things that aren't working yet, right? Start and due date stuff isn't complete yet. We have, I'm trying to think of what else. On the hierarchy widget, we're only searching immediate parents, things like that, or the parent widget. So there's some unexpected behavior because parity's not achieved yet. But other than that, yeah, it works. I've done a ton of tests against it.
all right. Um, so I'm taking liberties, but I do have a discussion. So yeah, I also spent a bit of time with it earlier, and yeah, I just had a sort of basic question for the avoidance of all doubt. Um, that this is the experience that we're aiming to give to customers, right? So the very broadly, the experience is like I'm going to click on epics like I normally do. I'm going to see a list of epics, which is a work item list, but I don't necessarily care as a customer. I'm going to open one of these things and I'm going to see it in the work item view, and I'm going to be able to create an epic from the new epic button. Um, just like if I say it like that, does everyone agree that that's the experience we're going for? Because if it's not, like we need to pivot like right away.
I have to drop, but I'm not sure I totally follow. And I don't agree with I don't care that it's not a work items list because we need to be precise about what's showing in the list. And, you know, at this stage, we expect it to be epics only and not other things. And so I would like to pick this back up if we could.
Yeah, sure. I just meant that like we know that it's a filtered work item list or that it's a component as a component. It's a list of work items, but for the customer and the job that they have to do, like they want to see a list of their epics, right? So there's no
Yeah.
change for them. They
Yeah,
just go
as
to their
long as
epics,
it's
see a
not
list of
showing.
epics. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as it's not showing other things. I think they don't care what the plumbing looks like. Okay, see
Yeah,
y'all.
and
Sorry.
bye, Amanda. Um, yeah, I think the question, like the bigger question is how much do we, like the ability to see epic work items has been at its core available on the plan stage for a bit. Now it's a matter of the experience of legacy epics within the work item view um, is what we're kind of working on now, right? Like John, I don't know if I understand what you're asking.
Okay, cool. So the other example of a work item being created is the objective and key result work item, or the task work item, right? And they all have different ways of like being created. I don't know what the term is. For objectives, like you have this drop-down experience where you create it in line. For tasks, you have to create them from issues. You don't yet have an experience where you create a work item generically or whatever. And as a result of this project, we still won't have that, which I'm fine with. But I what I'm trying to do is like eliminate all possible blockers, like as we get towards the end of the project. Like we don't want to find out something like, oh, but we don't have a generic work item creation view. Like we want to be all agreed that this is the experience we're aiming to give to customers, right? Like it's very similar to their current Epic workflow. They go to a list, they see a list, they create an Epic, and they go to the Epic. Happens differently underneath, and there are different URLs and different UI involved, but that's the broad pathway, right? So I suppose that's what I'm getting at. I just don't want to be surprised by something at the last minute that we didn't build that we somehow should have built. I don't know.
Yeah, so I got it. Yeah, like the question is more specific on the creation workflow as opposed to everything else around Epic, around Epic work items. And um, there is so we're currently working on the modal that you see today. Like right now, I think if you click on create Epic from within the plan stage, either in uh, the Epic work item list or the left sidebar plus button now, you see a modal with just, I think, title on there. An MR was just merged, I believe, that adds a couple more fields to that modal, but that is going to be the flow that we launch this with. And we are in the process in parallel of having that workflow be generic. So that's going to be the way that they create a task. That is going to be the way I think we may actually launch with. Actually, I don't know if we have details on how we're going to create a child epic from within a work item epic. If that's going to be the same flow where we just show the modal from there. I think long term
Yeah.
that's the approach, but yeah, do you know, Kushal?
Yeah, so the issue that I linked has a discussion around it. So not only we are going to introduce a navigation action for creating epics at a group level, but if user is viewing a work item and wants to create a child work item for it, then the same model is going to have a group picker or a project picker within the model itself, which is what I'm confused about because I was discussing this with Jack as he was working on this model. And that's how I came to know that this was the design decision that although user is on a work item page and they'll have the add action available within the hierarchy widget of a given work item, clicking on that add will trigger the same model dialog that users see on a global view. And instead of just accepting title for a work item, it will also allow user to pick a namespace under which new work item needs to be created. And that work item will be created first and then will be associated as a child of a current work item that user is viewing, which is very different from what we have today on legacy epics, where there is no model dialog. Form opens in place within the hierarchy widget, and it gives the sense to user that they are about to create a child item that is issue or an epic while staying within the current parent. But introducing a model dialog might be a bit confusing if we are going to reuse the same mechanism on both the places, global work item view as well as parent child one.
Yeah. I'll link the designs that I think show that specific flow. But that is the idea that there is no inline creation within the platform at all. Everything triggers the modal. So the issue that you linked to, Kushal, is that currently being worked on?
No. So as soon as
Okay.
this decision was made, Jack mentioned that he essentially stopped working on this because of the lack of clarity, and he is currently waiting for confirmation from product and UX on which direction we need to move. Whether we are going to be introducing that project or namespace drop down in the model component that we are using, or we are going to be going with inline.
Gotcha. Okay. I will I'll try to get a decision made on that. Because yeah, I don't know. I guess day one will be okay with keeping inline creation as it is, because it's going to be the same way within issues as tasks or with tasks as children, like that creation is going to be inline until we are ready to use a modal there, which is probably not going to be for a while. So, but I'll push to get a decision made there.
We should we have a section in the agenda for demos that we never use, but as we get closer, I think we could have weekly demos now. If we could find a DRI async who would be willing to do that. We have workstream 6 for the UX, so I don't think we need a new workstream to track all these things, but like I think we do need some part of the meeting to be put aside for a quick demo of progress now. Like otherwise I have this fear that we're gonna have a load of questions at the end that are gonna block us actually giving it to customers. I don't know. Do any of you share that concern, or you think it's okay?
Yeah, I think we have reached a point where we have quite a lot of information that can be demoed live on call, especially the links that Nicholas has mentioned around testing how a legacy epic got synchronized to a work item epic when you just update the URL and visit that legacy epic in its work item form. So yeah, plenty of opportunity in terms of demos.
Yeah, and even if we don't do a like a formal demo here, if someone wants to just drive this process, and we can do kind of like a live testing during the call too and ask questions in that way, I think that would that could be valuable also. Just because I think a lot of the front-end engineers that have worked on some of the stuff are not available during this time.
Okay, I'll take responsibility for actually finding somebody to be responsible or find some kind of process or something anyway. Like I don't think we have to decide right now, but yeah, the like testing in the meeting like seems like a good idea. Like if we can have like a testing board even of things we try. What I would like is to know like what's changed since the last week, right? So what's new, what's still missing, what does the experience look like? So that there are no surprises. We're on the timeline of 6 to 8 weeks, I think, at this point. Like, so, I mean, even if we find stuff, we have limited time to fix it and that kind of thing.
Any other discussion points?
Yeah, one quick question
Uh,
for you go first, Felipe, because
okay,
my
go on.
question is going to be to you, so you may answer it in what you're about to say.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, I saw you asking how you can see the background migrations and who are they assigned to. Is that what you're going to ask?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to
So
ask.
so it's a bit hard to verbalize. I can share my screen here. So there's an epic and there are a lot of sub epics, and this sub epic has some child issues. So I'll show you here. Just a moment. So if you go to this epic, you can see these children. So these first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ones are the ones we need to finalize before 17.2. But this first one is already merged, the backfilling. So all of these issues they have, all of these epics have two mandatory issues that needs to be done, is implementing the backfilling and then finalizing it. We don't need to finalize them on 17.1. We just need to finish the implementation of the migration. So all of them has like this one's to be done. The work item parent links. I saw Alexandra already has a merge request for this. There's the epic issues to work item parent links. We need to do this one. I think Mario has a merge request for this. Yes, he has a merge request for this already reviewed. There's the due date and start date widgets. Eugenia took it. Issue links. I took this one and it's already on review. And there is issue user mentions. I think someone took this one too. Yeah, Joseph, and that's it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I was just looking because I think I missed last week where you mentioned for the backfill, it's drop everything else and focus on the backfill. So just with Alexandria's out, Mario is also working on other stuff. So I just want to make sure we're still on track with that, with all of the backfill work, and if I should be finding someone to help with Alexandria's stuff until he gets back, and advising Mario to, in fact, drop everything else and focus just on the backfill.
Yeah, the way I see it, the ones from Alexandro and Mario are done and reviewed. They just need some babysitting to get it merged. So I can probably do it after my migration. So yeah, no need to assign someone else. I think so.
Okay. Cool. And those were the only things that were drop everything else and focus on, or does the, I don't know if we're still calling it working group, but does the group need help anywhere else to hit the timelines that Amanda had listed?
We could do some help on delegation because we have some work there which is already start, but nothing is merged. And once the first one gets merged, we will have like a foundation to all the other ones, and maybe someone can pick that up and would speed things a bit. The delegation one is the let me see, the work stream is the I think it's part of the hybrid sync, right? It's work stream 4. So I have to find a link for the epic. I can post in the agenda right after.
I've got it.
Oh, got it? Right. Thank you. Yeah, this one. And so there's some work on the labels that Alexandru made on this, but it's not merged. And once that get merged, everyone can kind of copy how it's made to the other associations, to the other delegations. So yeah, if someone can focus in it. I'm not sure when Alexandru is coming back, but meanwhile we could have someone there.
Yeah, he's out for another week, but like I took a stab at one of these and they're pretty tricky, and I took one of the easier ones. Um, so yeah, I would say like if anyone has capacity, to take a look at the MR that he started for labels, but I don't know if that's realistic because of the things that we need to prioritize for 17.1. So likely it's still going to be there when he gets back, right, Felipe?
Yeah, probably. I have to finish my background migration zone review, and then I will check the Alexandro one and the Mario's ones, and then I can probably jump at it, but not sure if I can make it into this milestone. I can try.
Right. So unless anyone wants to discuss any additional item, and we are over time already, we can call it a day here. right? Thanks a lot, everyone. Have a good rest of
Thank
the day.
you.
Bye.